The Secretary of Defense Loyd Austin alluded to and called out the obstruction on the part of Tommy Tuberville, the U.S. Republican senator, who has been blocking now 300 plus military promotions in the name of being against the military's stance on abortion and abortion access. I'll break down, and actually let me do this now before we watch the clip, then we'll get to some of the remarks recently from Loyd Austin. Tommy Tuberville is blocking necessary military promotions to allow people to be in the positions they need to be in, to allow our military to continue functioning effectively and the proper leaders being in the proper places. And there's implications for the lives of the families, uncertainty about where and what's happening and all of it. He's doing that because he is against the fact that the military, the Department of Defense, is saying in this post Roe v. Wade world, there's all these different standards in all these different states on abortion access. And we're not going to punish someone because they live in a state with a very extreme stance on abortion and make them have to choose between their career or getting an abortion. And this wouldn't impact them in the same way if they were in a more blue state. And so instead, we're going to have a one-size-fits-all policy. And if you live in a state with more accessible abortion access, great. If you don't, we will assist in getting you to a state with a more accessible abortion policy. Again, one size fits all. You can't punish people because they live in a certain state. You need to have one policy. And that is what the policy is. And so with that in mind, all these military promotions for this big political stunt for Tommy Tuberville and get him a bunch of Fox News interviews is causing this big problem. And the Secretary of Defense, Loyd Austin, called it out during a recent ceremony for someone who is leaving their position.
Now, this is indeed a proud day, but I want to take a moment to mark a painful milestone. As you know, more than 300 nominations for our outstanding general and flag officers are now being held up in the United States Senate. That includes our top uniformed leaders and our next Chief of Naval Operations. Because of this blanket hole, starting today, for the first time in the history of the Department of Defense, 3 of our military services are operating without Senate-confirmed leaders. This is unprecedented, it is unnecessary, and it is unsafe. And this sweeping hole is undermining America's military readiness. It's hindering our ability to retain our very best officers. And it is upending the lives of far too many American military families. Our troops deserve better. Our military families deserve better. And our allies and partners deserve better. And our national security deserves better. So let me say again that smooth and swift transitions of confirmed leadership are central to the defense of the United States and to the full strength of the most lethal fighting force in history. And it's time for the Senate to confirm all of our superbly qualified military nominees.
Yeah, absolutely. And on an individual basis, it's enraging that the effectiveness and readiness of our military is being impeded because of the stance of Tommy Tuberville and the stunt here. And then zooming out, it's yet another example of these principles. They just never mean anything. We want, as we've heard from Republicans constantly, our military to be strong, and any talk about changing the size of the budget and decreasing the size of the budget means you hate America, or all these stories we've heard from them and proud statements they've made about being so supportive of our military fall apart the second they disagree with the way the military is handling abortion access. And now he's perfectly on board with the idea of just halting a necessary process of military promotions and getting in the way of the military readiness and effectiveness that he previously would have been so proud of. And it's pretty dang aggravating to see. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before all the clips are able to be uploaded to the YouTube channel, plus get the bonus show on the weekends, you can do so by going to lukebeasleyshow.com/membership. That's lukebeasleyshow.com/membership, and there's a link in the description.